The letter arrived on a crisp October morning in 2027, its red border screaming trouble before I even tore it open. You're being fined $10,000 for unauthorized use of restricted water. The words, bold and unyielding, were stamped on official letterhead from the Pine Hollow Homeowners Association, signed by its president, Cynthia Reynolds. I stood on my weathered dock, still damp from my morning swim, my border collie Max whining at my side as if he sensed the absurdity. Cynthia, with her perfectly coiffed bob and ever-present tablet, had just tried to fine me for swimming in my Lockyer Lake that sat squarely on my 150-acre ranch in the rolling hills of Willow Springs, Montana. The citation called it a communal water body and threatened escalated measures if I didn't comply. Here's the thing. I owned every inch of that lake. My great-uncle purchased this land in the 1950s, and it was never part of their precious HOA. I wasn't even a member. But Cynthia didn't care. She thought she could strong-arm me. What she didn't know what made me grin through my fury was that I'd been quietly buying up land around their gated community for years, including their access roads, their picnic pavilion, and the utility easements they relied on. She'd picked a fight with the wrong rancher. My name's Ethan Marshall, though most folks just call me Ethan. I'm a 50-year-old former civil engineer who traded city life for the open sky of Montana 5 years ago. I bought the old Marshall Ranch from a cousin who cared more for slot machines than sunsets. With Max by my side, I rebuilt the place, fixed the stables, cleared old trails, and put up a cozy cabin by the lake. That lake was my sanctuary. Morning swims, quiet evenings with a fishing rod, the way the water caught the last light of day, it grounded me. But peace is fragile, and Cynthia shattered mine the day she rolled up in her gleaming white SUV, heels clicking, and introduced herself as the HOA's enforcer. I assume you've read our community guidelines, she said, her smile as stiff as her hair. I chuckled. Ma'am, this ranch isn't in your HOA. It's been Marshall land for decades. Her eyes narrowed, like I'd spat in her coffee. The previous owner cooperated voluntarily. It'd be neighborly if you did the same. I shook my head. Not interested. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Cynthia started small letters about property standards, invites to HOA meetings I never joined, then a notice claiming my lake was a shared community resource and my private use was prohibited. I sent her the deed, the survey maps, even a notarized title. No reply. Instead, she doubled down with the $10,000 fine. I tried reason in Gmails, certified letters, a polite call. Nothing. Then I realized this wasn't about the lake. It was about control. Cynthia thrived on it, and I was the one guy she couldn't leash. What she didn't know was that I'd spent years in high-stakes construction disputes. I didn't fold. I strategized. Over the past 6 years, I'd bought up parcels around Pine Hollow old ranch land, forgotten lots, even the gravel road their community used to reach the river. I didn't plan to weaponize it. I just loved the land. But now, it was my ace. I visited the county clerk, pulled Pine Hollow's bylaws, and found gold. As the owner of their access easements, I could propose fee changes. With a little paperwork and a quiet vote, nobody from the HOA showed UPI raised their annual access fees by $7,000. 2 weeks later, Cynthia got the notice during her annual HOA Unity Barbecue. I was splitting wood when I heard her scream across the valley. She stood on her deck, phone in hand, staring daggers at my cabin as she dialed 911. The sheriff arrived, lights flashing across the lake. Cynthia ranted, claiming I'd stolen their water access and was extorting the community. I handed over my documents, deeds, maps, easement records. The sheriff, a grizzled guy named Tom, skimmed them and sighed. Ma'am, Ethan owns this land. The fee's legal. This is a civil matter. Cynthia's face twisted, but she wasn't done. Neither was I. Things escalated fast. I noticed Pine Hollow residents sneaking onto my land, kids fishing, couples picnicking, even a guy who tore up my grass with his ATV. I put up signs, private property. No trespassing. They vanished. I installed a gate. Cynthia showed up the next day, demanding I remove it. This lake is a community tradition, she snapped. I held firm. It's my land, Cynthia. Your folks are trespassing. She smirked. You'll regret this. I consulted 2 attorneys. Both confirmed my ownership was airtight. Still, Cynthia kept coming fines for unapproved fencing, excessive tree growth, nonsense she couldn't enforce. She was trying to break me. She didn't know I'd faced worse. Then my stable burned. I woke at 3 a.m. to Max barking and flames licking the sky. I fought the fire with a hose, but it was too late. My tools, my great-uncle's tack, years of memories gone. The fire chief called it suspicious. My gut screamed Cynthia. I didn't accuse her outright. Instead, I went silent, letting her think she'd won. Behind the scenes, I installed hidden cameras, motion-activated, solar-powered, covering every inch of my land. I called my niece, Sarah, a tech-savvy grad student. She helped wire the system. Then I contacted my lawyer, Rachel, a no-nonsense litigator from Bozeman. She dug into Pine Hollow's records and found a bombshell. Their nonprofit status had lapsed. They'd been collecting dues illegally, facing $90,000 in back taxes and fines. I printed new signs, private property. 24 juillet surveillance. Trespassers prosecuted. Sarah and I posted them everywhere. The Pine Hollow online forum erupted. Residents questioned Cynthia's leadership, her secret budgets, her obsession with my lake. Then a whistleblower emerged. Linda, a former HOA secretary, messaged me. Cynthia hired a PI to dig up dirt on you with HOA funds $3,000 missing from our books. I have the receipt. I sent it to Rachel. This could be criminal, she said. I upped the ante. Before Cynthia's emergency HOA meeting to rally support, I emailed every resident easement docs, fire reports, Linda's evidence. I ended with, all I wanted was to swim my lake. Cynthia started this fight. I'll end it. At the meeting, Cynthia faced silence, not cheers. A board member, ex-Marine Greg, stood. I moved to remove Cynthia as president. Linda seconded. The vote was swift. Cynthia was out. She screamed about lawsuits, but no one listened. Linda, the new interim president, sent an apology, dropped all claims against me, and agreed to my fees. I thought it was over. I was wrong. At 4:12 a.m., my cameras caught a figure in a hoodie by my fence, carrying a gas can. Moonlight glinted off familiar gold hoop earrings. Cynthia. She poured gasoline near my new shed, struck a match. Sheriff Tom's cruisers roared in before she could light it. Hands up, deputies shouted. They cuffed her in the dirt, her hoodie smeared with mud. She saw me on my porch and shrieked, "You've destroyed me." I didn't reply. She destroyed herself. Cynthia was charged with attempted arson, trespassing, and property damage. The local paper ran it. HOA leader arrested in ranch fire plot. Pine Hollow bust. Neighbors apologized, brought casseroles, nodded respectfully. Linda delivered homemade jam and a note. Ethan, you stood up for us all. I nearly teared up, eating jam on my porch with Max. But the story grew. Sarah suggested rebuilding the stable and sharing the journey online. We did, with neighbors donating lumber and nails. A retired builder, Javier, helped for free. We posted videos starting with Cynthia's arrest. They went viral, thousands commenting, "Ethan's a legend." We rebuilt in 6 weeks, stronger, better. Cynthia? Her house sold quietly. She left a note at my gate, a copy of her $10,000 fine with red ink. You owned the lake all along. I laughed. Damn right. Then the FBI showed up. Agents Carter and Lee revealed Cynthia had funneled $1.2 million in HOA dues into shell companies across 3 states. My fight had exposed her scam. They took my files, warned she might still be a threat. Sure enough, a week later, a camera caught her lurking, scribbling a note. You ruined my life. You won't walk away clean. I turned it over to the feds. They revoked her bail, arrested her for fraud and harassment. She got 7 years. The courtroom was still. I felt no anger, just peace. A year later, we held Liberty Day by the lake barbecue, music, kids swimming. Pine Hollow dissolved the HOA, forming a voluntary co-op. They named a trail Marshall Path. I cried when I saw the sign. We launched a nonprofit, Freedom Waters, helping HOA victims with legal aid. Our videos hit 400,000 followers. I stood on my dock, Max at my side, knowing this lake was more than mine now. It was hope. So, where are you watching from? Did I go too far raising those fees, or was it justice? Should I have shown Cynthia mercy, or was her downfall deserved? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, subscribe, and share your HOA horror stories. What would you do if someone tried to steal your peace?